I believe sometimes we long for the capital T truth to try to make sense of our lives, to create a sense of belonging and purpose. Truth allows us to feel complete. Shannon's memory of the Daughtry concert is a great example of how our lens can alter our memory and how our imagination kicks in to fill in the blanks and find the truth we are craving.
You were in high school, and my friend Ethan and I were on a 13 concert streak. This was probably concert 7 or 8. And the night before, we'd gone to Daughtry's concert, and I had a sprained ankle. I remember being on crutches and then walking a long way to get to the actual concert. And the guy ended up letting us go up front because I couldn't walk very well. And Daughtry was trying to toss Ethan a pick, and it was just very unsuccessful. Then after the concert, we ended up meeting Daughtry and the band, having a great conversation with them, and then Daughtry invited us to his concert afterwards the next day. So this was taken up in the Springs, and I remember at the beginning of the concert, Daughtry saw Ethan and I, and made an announcement saying, "I'd like to thank my dedicated fans, Ethan and Maddie." And my friend Ethan, this is again, 7th or 8th concert we've been to, his face lit up like I had never seen it before at a concert. And it was the most memorable 2-day concert I've ever been to. We got to see them again, and they thanked us for coming, and it was honestly one of the best concerts I've ever
I
been
remember
to.
you and Ethan and Eric had gone to the main Daughtry concert the night before, and then the next day you guys had heard about another concert being played at Fort Carson. So they picked us up and we drove down there. I remember getting lost and not knowing where the actual base was. And so we drove around Colorado Springs for a little bit. And then we found it, and I used my military ID to get us on base. And we watched the concert, and then after that, we took pictures with some of the band members when they came to like the little gate thing. Then I remember them taking us home. I remember singing to 303 with Ethan while you and Eric were in the back seat. You guys were just talking about something else, but Ethan and I were just like jamming out to some 303. And yeah, that's kind of what I remember.
Reality is what we make it. Jade and I had a long night this night, and although there were good and bad times, we were able to both remember the best parts. Our memories are able to grab hold of the most memorable times and shines a brighter spotlight on them in our head.
So this picture was taken in May of 2015, or it was the first week of June. And Jade was having her debutante ball, which is like a initiation into adulthood. And they have to wear like these gorgeous white gowns. And I remember her dad telling her that this was going to be her wedding dress because of how expensive her dress cost. And I remember trying to find a dress for this event because it was super formal, way more formal than prom even. And I was so happy we got lost, and I ended up finding her later. And so we got to take this picture before the actual ceremony. And then afterwards, we ended up going to a hotel. And we had a really nice dinner. And then there was a whole dance and everything afterwards. And I remember her and I dancing the night away. And this girl that she really didn't like anymore came up to try to dance with us. And I remember pulling her away because it was her night. And I wanted her to have a blast. And we danced until like 12:31 and ended up going back to the room. We had a hotel room there. There was like 4 or 5 of us, and it was just such a great night. And now we go to different schools, and this is one of the pictures that always makes me smile and reminds me of her.
This picture reminds me of the debutante ball. I remember it was taken right before I went in to line up before the whole presentation started. I invited Maddie and a few of my other friends to come and watch and hang out and party afterwards and dance. It was an extremely long day, I remember, because it was a lot of walking in heels and a lot of curtsying and being proper in a big white dress. But we had amazing food. We had a lot of dancing, and we met some cute military boys. Maddie definitely made it a special day. We danced until, I don't know, like midnight, and then ended up spending the night in a hotel there, and I had a really great time. It was amazing, and it was probably one of the best memories I've had in a while.
This next photo's memory is a great representation of this quote. You will see how one image can trigger a person to see themselves a certain way, and how it can show how we view the world.
This is the day that Reed and I decided to go to Pride Fest this summer, and we signed up for a 5K, which is why we have the numbers on our shirts. And this must have been before the run, because by the end of it, I was sweaty, gross, and super red in the face. And I remember cutting through the park a couple times because we both got so tired, and I kept making him jog because I am not a runner. And by the end of the day, we were exhausted, super sunburned, and had more memories than we could possibly imagine.
Okay. That day was fun. It was my first ever Pride, so that was fun. I was so overwhelmed. Like, you guys were making fun of me because I was being quiet the whole day and like not very enthusiastic, but I was overwhelmed. Like, it's not that I wasn't having fun. I was just like, when I get overwhelmed by like social situations or new experiences, I just tend to observe. So like my smile is a little unsure there. I don't like this picture. I don't think I look good in this picture, but we'll just leave it at that. We ran the 5K, was it? I think it was a 5K, which was fun. There were some insane runners, like, that were dressed in drag too, so that like just made it that much better. But yeah, overall, like, a really great day, and I can't wait to go next year. Yeah.
Each person has a different lens that they see the world through. In this next photo, you'll understand how lenses alter our retelling of a memory. Through one photo, each person's memory went back to their imagination of this day we experienced together.
I remember this day, it was back in August, and we decided to go skydiving before school started, and we didn't really know each other too well. We'd kind of hung out, but this was kind of the day that we all got to know each other at a different level. We all didn't know what to expect, and I remember Faith, Loren, Michael, and I went on an airplane together. We were increasing in elevation, and I just really remember how scared I was, but how excited I was to start a whole year with these guys.
Okay, so this is the photo we took the day we decided to go skydiving. I don't actually know if this was taken before or after we went skydiving. By the way my hair looks, I feel like it should have been after. But it was so cool. It was crazy. I was really sort of nervous, I guess, but yeah, the hype is worth it. Skydiving it meets expectations. I don't know if I'd go again, but if I did, I probably would want to go with a big group again, like this group. So yeah.
I love this picture. It makes me so happy. This was the day that we went skydiving with the DU/PLP/Betcher crew, and I was starting to get to know everyone for the first time, and it was just so fun to get to know people while doing something so completely crazy. Like, we jumped out of a plane, and it was insane, but it was awesome, and my guide was pretty nice, a little creepy, but nice.
Okay. I think this was after, no, this is definitely before we went, because we're not terrified. We're scared shitless. Like, we don't have that look on our face. So, this was before skydiving. Overall, such an interesting day, because I didn't really know any of you, and, like, that was, like, the first time I was in a group of DU students, and people who I would be in, like, PLP with, like, for a very long time. Like, we were together for a few hours, and then we just jumped out of like a fucking plane together. Like, that's a pretty interesting way to start off a friendship. But like, looking back now, it's so crazy, like, that we're all like here and in winter quarter, almost in spring quarter.
Quote is a great summary of how memories are related. Each of these memories are within the last 5 years, and yet some of these memories are already being replaced by new ones, and I'm forgetting small bits of each memory. I forgot about getting lost in the springs. I forgot about the military boys at the dance. I forgot about how quiet Reed was at Pride, and I forgot about Faith's instructor at skydiving. Memories are altered and forgotten over time, but that's why we have pictures, to try and keep puzzles together to the best of our ability.